as we are in the middle of this, I guess, controversy based on the draft pages for the upcoming Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter, we have some interesting information coming out today from the editor of the Dragon Ball Super Manga. Right there on your screen on the right, that is the editor for the Dragon Ball Super Manga, as well as the Dragon Ball Heroes manga. That's VICTORY UCHIDA, and he was interviewed here on this video in Japanese. Obviously, you can watch the video if you want to, but I have the translations here with some very interesting tidbits about the future of Dragon Ball Super and also the end of the Moro Arc. So there is some new information coming out now about all this. First of all, I want to thank Cipher for doing the translations for this. He managed to watch the entire thing and get some bullet points for us that are important. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Cipher's bullet points here. Now, about VICTORY UCHIDA, like I said, Cipher calls him the mascot. If you've seen some of the Dragon Ball Heroes panels and some of their videos, the Japanese ones, you've probably seen the guy before, but he does work with Toyotaro, and so we have some information here. So the summary here from Ian from Cipher, he says that Uchida says that he works out the story alongside Toriyama and Toyotaro. So he's also involved in the creative process. It's not just Toyotaro and Toriyama. That's good to know. Toyotaro turns in the storyboards to Ed. Ed is editor, by the way, which is Uchida. So when you hear him say Ed, or when you see Cipher write Ed, it's an abbreviation for editor. Editor then passes the storyboards to Toriyama for one more check. So once again, it goes back to what I was telling y'all in that video I did about the secret, or the truth about Dragon Ball Super Manga. Toyotaro's the guy in charge right now as far as the story goes, but Toriyama is still the godfather. You know what I mean? He's involved still, don't get me wrong. So those of you who are complaining about Toyotaro's decision with Goku's character, Toriyama oversaw that and approved it. So if you want to, Toyotaro's not the only one to blame here, you know, when it comes to this. Obviously, it seems that was his idea, talking about Toyotaro, but we don't know for sure. We're not in these meetings. It could have been a Toriyama suggestion for all we know. But we do have some interesting tidbits about that coming up real soon, too, because there's a little interesting thing here that Uchida says. But anyways, Toyotaro submits the storyboard, the manga, and then Toriyama checks it one more time. It says here, Toyotaro's storyboards are unusually detailed because of the extra Toriyama check. Now, those of you who have been kind of studying for the past few months the draft pages, you'll notice that the art, albeit obviously the draft pages are incomplete when they're first being drawn, but when you look at the finalized art, when the manga actually comes out, you will notice that it's a lot of polish to it. Now, that's not just Toyotaro polishing it up. It's also Toriyama doing correction. So there are times when Toriyama will step in and redraw Goku's face or redraw certain aspects of a character, you know. So again, he's still involved. He's not the main guy, but he's still there. You know, the respect is there. It says here that Uchida and his co-host mentioned that page 8, the last page published on the official site as a preview, acts as the cliffhanger with a twist reveal on page 9. So that is okay, that's big, guys. That pretty much means that those leaked images when Goku gave Moro the Senzu, that's the first 8 pages. So something's going to happen in page 9, a big twist. Now, I want to talk about this for just a moment. I've seen a lot of you guys in the comments all over the internet talk about how some of you guys think Goku's going to one-shot Moro. And that is a possibility. That is a possibility. Goku's just going to go in there and just one-shot the guy, kill him, and we're done. Because Moro attacks Goku. I thought it'd be a lot cooler if they did something where like Goku goes into Moro's throat and pulls out the Senzu bean right before he digests it. That would be freaking awesome. He puts his hand down his throat. We've never seen that before. But that would be great. But they're not going to do that. But there's some kind of twist going on. Like I told you guys in my video a few weeks ago about Jump Festa, it's coming up in December, and I'm I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty confident that they're going to be announcing the next Dragon Ball Super manga storyline, right? I'm fairly certain of that. So this is going to end. I mean, it's going to be ending soon, whether it be October or November. So if Goku does one-shot Moro and kill him, then the rest of the manga chapter, the remaining, 30 or so pages, are going to be cleaning up after the arc and, maybe some goodbyes and this and that and the other thing. Or possibly next month is the actual end, with December being the beginning of a new arc, or January when Jump Festa has a trailer or a preview for it. Make no mistake, it's happening. We're going to get a new arc. That's not even a secret. In fact, they talk about that here. I'm going to get to that. So moving on here. It says here the story is basically at its climax. So right there it tells you that we're almost done. The Moro Arc is almost over. This story wrapping up means a new one is going to have to start soon. There you go. There's proof. We have a new arc coming. That's the evidence right there. Confirmed by the editor. There will be a new arc beginning. Says here there's a story meeting scheduled for 2 days after recording, like either 10:15 or 10:16. So that means that at some point tomorrow or the day after, there will be a meeting between Toyotaro and Victory Uchida, possibly even with email correspondence from Toriyama himself discussing the future of the manga. So they're going to have a meeting. I'm sure that Uchida is probably connected with Toei and you know, Shueisha and pretty much everybody to see what they want in case there's something that they do want. But as of right now, Shueisha is pretty much the boss when it comes to Dragon Ball Super and the manga. Toei has no input. Well, Toei will have some input, but it's Toyotaro and Toriyama's kind of baby, if that makes sense. When Toei, when they do the anime adaptation, whenever that is, then they can make changes and add stuff and take stuff away. Probably add stuff more than take stuff away. But right now for the manga, it's just these guys working on it. The plan, Norm, at this stage is just to narrow down general ideas with Toriyama and Toyotaro. So there you go right there. Uchida says it's basically like narrowing 10 options down to 3. The scope of these options, which either the entire storyline premises or details, isn't specified. Seems more like it's brought up to give a general impression of early story meetings. So that means that, you know what that means, guys? That means that there are actually multiple storylines being discussed by Toriyama and Toyotaro for the future. So that is an interesting tidbit. That tells me, and this is the truth, guys. I mean, you might not like it, but it's the truth, that Dragon Ball Super seems to be a bit directionless. I'm glad that they have storylines planned, but it's almost as if they don't really have an end game here. Like where we're going, what's going to happen. At least not based on this. I could be wrong. I'm not in the meetings with Toriyama and Toyotaro. I don't really know. But some have said that Dragon Ball Super feels directionless, and it definitely feels that way based on this, if they have multiple storylines going. But remember, Dragon Ball, when it first was coming out back in the 80s, was also like this because Toriyama wrote it as he went along. So that might not be a bad thing, but I do hope they have a plan, they stick to it, whatever that is. Everyone agrees that Migate no Gokui, English name Ultra Instinct, is a very cool name. Yeah, Migate no Gokui, the Mastery of Self Movement, is a cool name. I like that name more than Ultra Instinct. The co-host talks about Ultra Instinct as if it debuted in the manga first. Oops, yeah, that's wrong. Uchida rolls with it. Uchida references talking about having him, Goku, progress in this kind of direction during a story meeting sometime early during UI's conception. So this guy talked to Toriyama during the early stages of Ultra Instinct. That is very interesting. That would have been 2017, right? It's a while back. Maybe even before that. I mean, for all we know, Toriyama may have come up with this in 2016 because the Trunks arc ended in 2016. He was writing the TOP. There's a very good chance that UI was actually invented 4 years ago, like by Toriyama. He came up with it. In these initial discussions of Migate no Gokui, Uchida did not expect it would come with a major appearance change. Toriyama's silver-haired design came as a surprise. Yeah, because we all thought it was going to be just the silver eyes, what Omen was, and it wound up being the silver hair, which Toriyama didn't. As far as we know, he wasn't involved in the Omen process, but it was adapted into the anime and later on the manga by Toyotaro. Uchida references the cool expression on Toriyama's UI illustration. Is this just his Battle of God Super Saiyan God Greek color illustration we've seen? Yeah, it could be that one, or it could be one of the a concept art we haven't seen yet from Toriyama. They talk about the clever pun of Migate no Gokui, using characters making up Migate, a word for selfish, literally, to express the idea of the body moving on its own accord. It is a pun. I did a video with Herms called The Meaning of Ultra Instinct, where we actually broke down what that word means, because Migate no Gokui, we call it Ultra Instinct, but it's actually a much more complicated phrase. It could be called the secret of egoism, the secret of selfishness, the mastery of self-movement. There are multiple translations because of what those words mean. So that's always kind of cool if you ask me. There's a real sense of compatibility between Toriyama and Toyotaro. Their ideas don't seem to clash with one another. I guess that's good. They tend to simply agree with others' ideas and build off of them. Seems like a yes and sort of thing, even though it's a very polite PR representation in the meeting, so who knows. Yeah, I mean, they probably don't butt heads, but I'm sure there's been times where Toriyama's been like, no, don't do that, or you should do this. I mean, we know that he does correction, so he definitely has some input. A second meeting metaphor. Toriyama's Goku, Toyotaro's Vegeta, Uchida's Yamcha. First of all, that's funny. He's trolling, guys. Don't take that literal. I don't think he's saying that Toyotaro is, that he's literally Yamcha. I mean, and maybe he feels that way because he's in the presence of Toriyama. And just so you guys know, this is obviously all done via phone. This is not like a conference call or email. This is not like in person because Toriyama never leaves his house. And I'm not kidding when I say that. Very rarely. Unless he'll do it for these meetings. I mean, but as far as we know, he doesn't. So with that being said, I just find it funny that he calls himself Yamcha. But he's in the presence of Toriyama, who, like him or not, okay, based on what he's done now, he's got an entire career that's given us some great works. You have to give that to the man. You know what I mean? Yeah, you might not like him now. He might not have been delivering the storylines you want, but he definitely gave us a lot. He gave us a lot throughout the 80s and 90s, yo, and that can't be forgotten. Uchida says he feels lucky to be present at those meetings as a fan himself. That's what I was talking about. Yes, see, I knew he was going to say it before I even read it. And then volume 14 is out on 12/14. It covers through the September's issues chapter. So, basically, to summarize, new arc is coming. It's confirmed. We don't know what it's going to be yet. It's being kept a secret. Some insider tidbits about the meetings they have, and that tells me the Moro arc is ending very soon. Again, guys, it's going to either be October, November, December. I don't see it going into January. We may see like a little slice of life thing before the main, serious storyline happens. But we're going to get an announcement probably at Jump Festa. And maybe even we're probably going to get a trailer. Like a manga trailer like we got for Tournament of Power. We'll probably get one of those. Anyways, that's what I have for you today. Hope you have a great day. Remember to take care of yourself and stay healthy. And I'll have more when I get it for you. Talk to you soon.